School was quite a confusing time, and I don't really remember the vast majority of school, if I'm honest.
I recall Jess as being very sweet, but also quite nervous. She was a very emotional girl. She would get really overwhelmed and panic and get quite upset.
I just thought she was quite weak and a bit of a pushover, and that annoyed me at the time.
I started to have these really horrible images, and they would sort of come and go almost in the blink of an eye. When I sort of snapped out of it, I couldn't really remember what they were about either. I just knew that they were horrific and horrendous, and I definitely didn't want to see them again.
I was going through it as much as Jess was, just like, I just wish that I could have been there more.
I kept finding scratches and bruises all over my body. My arms, really badly on my thighs. It was terrifying.
I was quite wary of how emotionally sensitive, of how emotionally sensitive she was. And I didn't want to get too close to her.
When I reached puberty, it just felt completely overwhelming to me. Like, I didn't want my body to be noticed. It would frighten me to think that there could be people who would look at me in that way. It really made me feel uncomfortable.
I suppose Jess would have thought something along the lines of, I'm having these feelings, these thoughts, these ideas, therefore they must belong to me.
I would have these moments, these blackouts, and I had no idea why I was there or what I was doing. My life started to spiral. I had that realization that these people in my head were coming forward and taking control of my body, and it was terrifying. I didn't know what I could possibly do to stop them. Didn't really know who I was or what I liked or what I was into or even who a lot of my friends were. It was horrendous. I remember leaving school early one day, going all the way across towns to see a psychiatrist, only to be told, there's nothing I can do to help you. And it was at that moment, even though I was so upset, I said, well, if no one's gonna help me, then I'm just gonna have to help myself. I'm gonna have to learn to help myself because I can't deal with my life the way it is right now. I need help, I need support, and I need answers.
Actually, I was the one who attempted to set up the help. I saw very clearly that there were conflicting outlooks on the world and that there was the potential to make life very difficult.
I was always very interested in the human mind and psychology, and this just piqued my interests even more because I thought, there must be people like me out there. There must be others that go through this similar thing. Maybe I can find the answers and not only help myself, but I can help other people too. So I decided that I was going to study clinical and health psychology. I was researching some university articles and I came across this article about schizophrenia. The article said, schizophrenia is not to be confused with dissociative identity disorder. So I clicked on the page and I had a look, and everything on that page was me. Everything that I'd ever been through was on that page. I realized that I was an alternate identity, an alternate personality, or an alter for short, in the same way that Jake was an alter, as was Jamie, as was Ed, and they all had a role to play in my life. A lot of people ask me, would I get rid of this if I could? And my answer is, probably not. At least not right now. because I have no idea what it's like to be one person. I only know what it's like to live this way. And my boys have done so much for me. They've helped me get through life in so many ways. And I appreciate them all, through the good and the bad.
When Jess had a name for it, when Jess realized I have dissociative identity disorder.
Not only did Jess have to live with that idea that she, had a mental health disorder, but I also had to live with the idea that I was part of that.
Yeah, I was hurting, and I had no other way of getting it out.
I just hated my life. I hated it. I hated this life that I'd been given. I hated Jess's life, and I was just all around miserable. I didn't ask to be there. I didn't ask to be part of this life. I was just annoyed that I was, and I think I took a lot of that out on Jess at the time.
I suppose I never really thought of myself as part of Jess.
This is the life we have, and we have a very enriched inner world life, and I think that to me makes up for anything like that. So it makes up for the fact that I have to share a body whilst out here, but inside I feel very fulfilled.